Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Abdul Hadi and I'm a student of Priyan College. Today, we will back with another session with AI and talk with ChatGPT. And our topic is how to avoid regrets and make a better decision. So, first of all, I share the screen to you and go to ChatGPT and ask some questions. Okay, so let's start. Hi, ChatGPT. How are you?
Hey there, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day going?
Hello, can you hear me, ChatGPT?
Absolutely, I can hear you loud and clear. Let me know if there's anything specific you'd like to chat about or if you need any help.
Yes, actually, I want to take you an interview and ask some questions. So, are you ready?
Absolutely, I'm ready. Feel free to fire away with your questions and I'll do my best to answer them. Let's get started.
Okay. So, my first question is, what are the most common factors that influence your decision, logic, emotion, or pressure from others?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'd say it really depends on the situation. Sometimes logic takes the lead, especially when making decisions that involve data or clear reasoning. Other times, emotions can play a big role, especially if it's something personal. And then, of course, we're often influenced by the people around us and their perspectives. It's usually a mix of all three.
Okay. So, my next question is, hi, how often do you take time to think before making an important decision?
I definitely try to take a moment to reflect and consider all angles before making an important decision. It can vary depending on how big the decision is, but I usually like to sleep on it or at least mull it over for a bit. That way I can make sure I'm considering both logic and intuition before deciding.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, what is the difference between quick decision and a wise decision?
That's a really interesting comparison. A quick decision is usually made rapidly, often based on intuition or immediate information, and it can be really effective in urgent situations. On the other hand, a wise decision typically involves taking more time to weigh the pros and cons, gather more information, and reflect on long-term consequences. So quick decisions can be handy, but wise decisions tend to be more thorough and balanced.
Okay, ChatGPT, my next question is, do you consider long-term consequences before closing an option? Why or why not?
Absolutely. I definitely try to consider long-term consequences. I think that looking ahead helps ensure that the decision is sustainable and beneficial in the long run rather than just focusing on short-term gains. Of course, sometimes we have to balance immediate needs with future impacts, but in general, I do think it's important to take the long view.
Okay, so my next question is, ChatGPT, how do you differentiate between intuition and fear?
That's a really thoughtful question. Intuition is usually that gut feeling or a kind of inner sense that's based on experience and pattern recognition, and it often feels like a subtle nudge toward the right choice. Fear, on the other hand, is more about anxiety or apprehension and usually stems from a perceived threat or potential loss. So intuition tends to be more of a calm guiding force, while fear is more about caution and avoidance.
Okay, so my next question is, what role does self-awareness play in making other better decision?
Oh, self-awareness plays a huge role. When we're self-aware, we have a better understanding of our own biases, our values, and our emotional triggers, which helps us make more balanced and intentional decisions. It also means we can recognize when emotions are influencing us and can separate those from pure logic. Ultimately, self-awareness leads to greater clarity and more thoughtful choices.
Okay, how do external influences, friends, family, social media affect your choice?
Yeah, external influences can definitely have a big impact. Friends and family can shape our perspectives, values, and even our priorities, sometimes without us even realizing it. Social media, too, can influence us by creating certain norms or expectations, and sometimes it can push us toward trends or opinions that might not fully align with our true values. So it's all about finding a balance and being mindful of those influences while still staying true to ourselves.
Okay, so my next question is what question should you ask yourself before making a big decision?
That's a great one. Some key questions could be things like, what are my core values and how does this decision align with them? Or what are the potential short term and long term consequences? You might also ask, am I making this decision based on facts or emotions? And even, what would I advise a friend in this situation? These kinds of questions help bring clarity and ensure that you're making a well rounded choice.
Okay, so my next question is why is it important to define your goals before making a choice?
That's a fantastic question. Defining your goals beforehand really helps give you clarity and direction, so you can evaluate your options in light of what you truly want to achieve. It also helps you stay focused and avoid getting sidetracked by distractions or external pressures. Plus, having clear goals makes it easier to measure your progress and stay motivated along the way.
Okay, so my next next question is how do you deal with pressure when you have to make a fast decision?
Yeah, dealing with pressure can definitely be challenging. One approach is to take a few deep breaths to center yourself and calm any immediate anxiety. Another key is to rely on your preparation and past experiences so you can trust your instincts. It also helps to break the decision down into smaller, manageable steps and focus on the most important factors. And of course, it's always helpful to seek a quick second opinion if you can, just to get a bit of clarity.
Okay, so my next question is how do you know when it is a time to take risk?
That's a great question. Usually it's about assessing the potential rewards versus the potential downsides. You might consider whether you've done your due diligence, if you have a good contingency plan, and if the potential gain aligns with your long term goals. It's also important to reflect on your comfort level and your capacity to handle any potential setbacks. Ultimately, it's about balancing courage with caution and trusting your judgment.
Okay, so my next question is what making mistakes from your past do you regret and why did you learn from them?
Oh, that's a thoughtful one. I think everyone has a few decisions they look back on and wish they'd done differently. Often the biggest lessons come from those moments where maybe we didn't fully consider the consequences or let emotions lead the way. But what's really valuable is that those mistakes help us grow, refine our decision making process, and become more self aware. In the end, those experiences definitely shape better choices in the future.
Okay, so my next question is how can you accept a decision even if did not turn up perfectly without feeling regret?
That's such a great point. I think accepting decisions that didn't turn out as hoped really comes down to embracing a growth mindset. It helps to focus on what you learned from the experience rather than dwelling on what went wrong. Also, giving yourself grace and recognizing that mistakes are just part of the journey can really help. Over time, that mindset reduces regret and builds resilience, making you more confident in future decisions.
Okay, so my next question is why it is important to define your goal when making decision.
Absolutely. Defining your goal is super important because it gives you a clear sense of direction and purpose. It helps you evaluate your options more effectively and ensures that you're making decisions that align with what truly matters to you. Plus, having a defined goal can really help you stay motivated and keep you focused, especially when challenges come up along the way.
Okay. Chat GPT, thank you so much for your time. We have a wonderful session with you, and you give me a very good answer. And have a great one.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm really glad I could help, and I had a great time chatting with you. If you ever have more questions, just let me know. Have an awesome day.
Okay. So we will end the session now. So everyone, there is a session with the AI, and it's an AI session 25. So now it's a time to end the session. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share the video.